Okay, stock market technical analysis. Let's dive right in. Drop me a thumbs up. I do appreciate it. Subscribe, and if you want additional market insights and trade ideas and charts, private member group, check it out. Link in the description below. Okay, so triple Qs. There's our tech sector, and no real change today. So I'll just go in the bigger picture. Bigger picture, we have a slightly higher high on the post-election rally over our former high. Okay, we do not have any reversal candlesticks telling us that this is necessarily the top. We do have an extension of the divergence. Momentum is continuing to drop. See the RSI, it's dropping off. PPO is starting to drop off as well. So we have a new divergent high, which has a higher probability of getting sold into, although no reversal candlesticks, no real sell signals besides that divergence. So, we could, pop up and make a new high and extend the divergence. That's possible. So we're kind of waiting. I'm kind of waiting and looking for that sell signal on the triple Qs. We just don't have it yet. So that is it on the triple Qs. Flipping over to the SPY, S&P 500, we basically have a backtest of a bearish rising wedge. So this is objective to short. Let me kind of show you guys as I'm cleaning this chart up. You've got basically bearish rising wedge here. You have negative divergence. Momentum has been dropping. You have a break of the wedge, although not impulsive initially. The gap down, that was good. That was impulsive. So you have a sell signal, and then post-election rally right back into resistance. All right, that's resistance right up there. So, we can backtest some more. There's nothing that says we can't backtest some more, but it is objective to short up around current levels. So if we get another pop, and another backtest, again, that's objective. The risk, the upside is limited until you start breaking that resistance. All right. Otherwise, you'll hit the resistance and likely get sold into, especially with the divergence, because you can see here, if we look at the momentum, you can see that we basically have a continuation of the negative divergence. All right. So that doesn't give us a sell signal, but it does give us a condition that selling should take place, and you want to look at objective areas or sell signals, and it is objective to short at resistance. So that is that one. And then just look at the futures to give you guys a quick update on the SPY futures. Same look. I've got it all scrabbled out, but in general, you can see here, because I've actually done this video once already this morning. You can see here, bearish rising wedge here, break of that wedge, sell signal, and then a back test. So that's it. We should get sold into, whether, maybe it's this week, maybe it's tomorrow, but the selling should show up soon. Running through the Mag 7 real quick, NVIDIA, no sell signals. It looks basically exactly like the triple Qs. We are making a new high. We've made a new high in price. No real follow through. Pretty just muted price action. Here, this is the post-election rally, and then it's just gone nowhere since that initial thrust. And then you basically have just a new divergent high. You can see here, basically, there it is. Negative divergence on NVIDIA has been extended, and it's been growing for quite a while. See the RSI? If I zoom in, let me zoom in here. And you can see there it is, just an extension. Momentum is just dropping off. Each new high in price is on less and less momentum, telling me that there's very likely going to be a solid downside move soon. We just don't have that quite yet. So, and like at the end of the day, NVIDIA has got this big major trend line here on the daily chart. You have to break that. All right, that's got to be broken in order for any kind of major sell signal. So I think it's likely we're going to get a pullback to that trend line here pretty soon. But again, the major sell signal comes on the trend line break. I mean, Apple just kind of continues to drift sideways. I mean, if you really look at Apple, it's basically gone nowhere for quite a while. We've just been kind of drifting sideways with a slight bias to the upside, but each time you pop up and make a new divergent high like you did right here, they're selling into it. Momentum continues to drop off, so it's kind of, to me, it looks like a topping price action. where a divergence is showing up and you're not dropping yet, but you're kind of topping out. And, you know, we could go on and make a new divergent high. That's completely possible. It still, to me, looks like topping price action. So keep an eye on it. In general, I don't have a sell signal on that one, so we'll just keep watching it. Microsoft is kind of doing this isometrical wedge price action. We've had a break to the downside and to the upside, so the wedges probably can be widened out maybe like that, but I'm going to leave it here for now. And, you know, we'll see. I mean, in general, look, you've got the pre-election drop. You've got a pop above it. It's getting pretty choppy, so very likely we're going to see a move in Microsoft here pretty soon. Which way it goes, honestly, the chart doesn't quite tell me that because momentum has been dropping and so has price. So there's no divergence really on Microsoft. So I'm going to just follow the price action on that one. Meta does look like it's starting to break trend. If I go all the way back on the daily chart and you look all the way back to November of 2022, you can see I've got several reactions to help validate that trend line. There's another big pop. Got a little choppy right ahead of the election, but in general, you know, so that's a little pre-election breakdown, but then a recovery right after the election. But now we're starting to drift lower. All right. Now the selling's not impulsive quite yet, so maybe people aren't quite, you know, realizing that the trend line actually has been broken. But we'll watch that. You know, if we see more and more selling show up, it's going to help validate that that trend line was broken and we are on a sell signal. So as of right now, it is a sell signal. We have broken trend. We've got some support down here at 564. So you got to take that out really. And if we take that out, then there's some minor support down here at 538.25 and then down at the 200 day. So we'll watch kind of those levels. The widest part of the wedge, because this is a pretty good size wedge, would actually be a measured target. Sending this one, you take it at the point of the breakdown, and the measured target's actually way down here around 375-ish. And there's this gap to fill down there. So I would say that would be the measured target, somewhere in between there. So we'll watch it, but as of right now, it's on a sell signal. So this one I do like as a short. Okay, sell signals. So XLI, I pointed this out the other day. I don't remember if it was in the private member group or not, but this one has you had a bearish engulfing right here. All right, so there's your bearish engulfing, and it is a divergent high. So you've got negative divergence with that bearish engulfing. So you treat that as the top, okay, for XLI, for the industrials. And then, you know, that's a topping stick, so we should, you know, head lower. Flipping over to the holdings of XLI, we have GE, Aerospace, CAT, and RTX being the top three. So let's look at those. CAT, I definitely pointed out as also having that a island cluster top. There it is right there. Island cluster top are, you know, those are basically topping patterns. And there's really been nothing but selling since. So that one still looks good. You'd want to stop out on a daily close above that island cluster top. GE Aerospace. This one is on a sell signal, so you'll see here, large uptrend line on the daily chart. Big negative divergence been building. We did break. You had a sell signal here, and it back tested, and it's so far being rejected. So there is no recovery. It is a breakdown and a back test. And so we will, you know, I'm going to expect there to be lower prices until they're able to recover that trend line. So looking for breakdowns there. And then RTX, this one you'll see here on the daily chart. Okay, look, you've got support. All right, support. Lots of reactions right in there. There's another one, third. And then today, I don't know if that's on earnings or what, but basically we're breaking that trend line. So where we close the day will be telling. I mean, it's down there a ways. I don't think they're going to be able to recover it in the last hour. Maybe they do. But in general, that is a sell signal and a break of trend. So you have some support right about there at 117.46. So you got to take that out too. But the trend line's broken. So what it could do is if it closes down below this trend line, you're probably going to chop around here for a little while and then ultimately in the future start to break down and head lower. Okay, I'm just going to jump around trade ideas. LLY, Eli Lilly. Again, uptrend line was broken a while back. So there's your uptrend line. And broke down, sell signal, back tested. They recovered the trend line briefly, but just a little false breakout or false recovery. Big negative divergence. And these highs were new divergent highs. They did nothing but sell into those. You'll see here, look at those topping sticks. 3 in a row. Topping sticks there. So, and then broke the trend line again, and it's been trending lower ever since. Okay, you're in a downtrend, and so I think we're going lower now. You'll also see here the 200-day moving average has been taken out. They broke it here when they gapped down, recovered it, sold it, hit it again, and they rejected it. So I think there's some support right here, basically where we're at, about 789.90 or 790, we'll call it. And we take that out, we should head straight down to the next level of support, which is about 729. Okay, so that's where I think we're heading, probably pretty soon, right down to that 729. It's about 7 to 8%, about 8% from where we're at right now, downside. So I'm looking at that. MasterCard. So MasterCard, again, negative divergence tells me that we're going to go lower. We had a bearish rising wedge. We have one right here. All right, widest part of the wedge is really it's about here. Okay, so the major target for this trade, you take the widest part of the wedge at the point of the breakdown, and that sends us down to about 483. Okay, we did get a break of the wedge here on earnings. Big old outside day rejection candle, but that was right ahead of the election, and then the election came out. They recovered that, but again, it looks to me like we're starting to reject again, especially with this candle right here. So we are right at support because that breakout candle, that big candle here, this is where, that's basically that support level where it was resistance before, and they're trying to hold that line right there. It's about 521.40. So need to see that get rejected and that taken out. Once that's taken out, we should start to work our way down towards that major target, down around the down around 488, slightly lower level. There's also a support line, a good solid support, which is coming off the lows. So to me, I think that's actually probably the more realistic target. I think you kind of head down and hit that trend line right there. Okay, a couple long ideas. Mosaic. This is, you've got this big bullish falling wedge here, and you have bullish divergence. It's really been building for quite a while, even from way back here. No no buy signals, and then earnings came out, and I did point that out. We're at the 200 right before earnings. I said it could go, it's either going to break out or it's going to come down back down to support, and it really was like a 50-50 because you hadn't broken out. There was no buy signals, so you were at resistance right ahead of earnings. They dropped it back down to support. I think it's probably going to work its way back up and then break out now. Now again, it's objective to buy at support, which would be kind of down here, like post earnings. This made a lot of sense to kind of buy it down there, or it's objective to buy this thing on a break of the top of that bullish falling wedge. So either one is objective, and we're so yeah. Again, to me with the divergences, how big they are, to me it seems like this thing's very ripe. It's very likely going to run up and break out. But until you see it, you don't have a buy signal. NTR still looks okay. It's basically just kind of holding support. There's kind of support right through here. Today it's testing this wick level, but it's still kind of holding that support zone. So I still like it. Again, MOS and NTR, they're all in the same business, so they should actually trade relatively the same way. So keep an eye on both of those. Gold, GDX, gold miners hitting support at the 200-day moving average. No buyers, no real buyers yet, but they should buy it. So if they gap this thing down tomorrow below the 200, I would expect that's where the buyers will show up, because that would be a stop raid. They'd gap it down below the 200, run a bunch of stops, and then the buyers will step in. So keep an eye on that. I would expect at least a minimum some sort of a bounce here at the 200 day. And yeah, so that's what I'm expecting. And then Newmont, been sold off really pretty heavily. There's some support right down here at about $40, and we're pretty much there. So look for some sort of a reversal candlestick, a buy signal on the hourly chart. I've got this downtrend line you could watch break out of the downtrend line, and yeah, you're likely going to get some sort of a counter trend bounce. This one's pretty sold off. It's at the 200. It's below the 200, but again, to see a brief dip below the 200. That looks like stop rating price action. I think you're going to see some buyers stepping in here pretty soon. So that might be it for the downside on Newmont. It's at really good support. And that's about all I've got for today. So I'll get the video guys out and drop me a thumbs up. Catch you guys on the next one.